So, welcome to Casey's Book Corner. This is my first ever video, so I'm a little bit nervous, but I'm used to speaking to myself, so I don't think, what's the worst that could happen, right? Nothing, it's fine. No one will see it. So, this is hopefully going to become your one-stop shop for book reviews, recommendations, lists, and just general, hopefully fun, bookish content. That's what I'm aiming for. That's what I'm going to try and achieve. We'll see. However, you're here, so pull up a chair, get a wee drinky. I've got my, this is embarrassing, but I have got my Barocca because it is morning and I've got to make sure I get those good old vitamins. So, it's actually pretty disgusting. Anywho, I've gotten all that bump out of the way. If you want to join me on my little journey and come along with me, that would be awesome. Saves me from being lonely. So give the subscribe button a cheeky love tap and let's get on with my first video. So I figured that for my first ever foray into the world of YouTube, I would give you a little bit of the backstory. We're going to take it way back. Let's go full superhero origin story here. When I was a kid, complete bookworm. Devoured books. Like, I couldn't think of anything better to do with my life than read Sweet Valley High. Oh my god, Sweet Valley High. Every book was pretty much exactly the same, but they were all so different. And I thoroughly loved the whole twin swapping personalities thing. It was great. Famous 5 and Secret 7. Again, totally loved them. Every story was exactly the same, but they were all so good. I loved a bit of Nancy Drew. Kind of wanted to be Nancy Drew. I was constantly on the lookout like Scooby-Doo looking for mysteries to try and solve, and there were none. Like, obviously, just going about my normal business waiting for murderers to come out of the woodwork. And then I would read some awesome novels like Watership Down, which I am determined I will read it as an adult, but I'm also a little bit scared because it traumatised me. Fully traumatised me as a child. And the book that I'm reviewing today, which is Goodnight, Mr. Tom. Which I'm going to put a picture of it somewhere around here. I don't know where. This is my first foray into the world of editing as well, so we'll see what happens. But yeah, I would like soak it all in and read all these books, and then when I got to about 13, I was way more interested in boys and hanging out with my friends than I was in reading books. Now, bearing in mind, I was the teenager who collected, you know, the little wrestling WWE like stickers, like football stickers, but with The Rock and Stone Cold Steve Austin. I collected those things and listened to Linkin Park, Limp Bizkit and Korn. I did not have a huge circle of friends, but I hung out with them a lot and gave up on the reading. And then the years just kind of flew in, and all of a sudden I'm nearly 40, and I was sat there last year doing my New Year's resolution, and I said to my other half, I was like, I am fed up of New Year resolutions taking things away. Don't eat greasy food, don't eat chocolate, stop drinking alcohol, you know, don't eat crisps, like, don't have fun, basically. That's how I felt about New Year resolutions, and that's why you always fail them. So I was like, I'm going to give myself something. I'm going to add something to my life instead of taking something away. So I decided to add books back into my life. And I had Goodnight, Mr. Tom in mind from the second I said that. So I toddled off to the library, which is practically round the corner. I can almost see it from my house. It's the world's most convenient library. Went there, got my little library card, went to the children's section, which is fine, it's totally fine, and I picked up Goodnight, Mr. Tom, and I read it that day, and immediately was like, oh yeah, they've still got it. They've definitely still got it. Oh, such a great book. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about it right now. This is a spoiler-free channel, so you're getting no spoilers from me. You're going to get a rough idea, and I'm going to tell you how it made me feel. And then you can decide if you want to read it or not. Or share your thoughts if you have read it. That would be awesome. So, an evacuee called Willie, super shy, really petite, little scrawny little thing, gets evacuated up to the countryside from London during World War II. And he gets put with a grumpy old man called Tom, Mr. Tom. Now, Mr. Tom was doing his civic duty here by taking on an evacuee, but by no means do not be rope-a-doped into thinking that he wanted an evacuee. He did not. He was lumbered with him. So these two people who are so different in terms of age and personality and life experience, who are both dealing with their own bunches of trauma, are put together in a situation neither of them want to be in. And then from there blossoms this found family, gorgeous, emotional, just hopeful story that hits you in all of the feels all of the time. This is a children's book, right? And it still baffles my brain, feels like it wants to explode. This is a children's book, but it is not shying away from grown-up stuff. I mean, it's set in the World War, right? So you're dealing with grief and loss and, poverty and all the things that come with war. But you're also then dealing with abuse and trauma and mental health and all these grown-up subjects that are dealt with in such a sensitive, well-rounded way that makes it okay for kids to read it, but equally okay for grown-ups to read it, right? Grown-ups can totally read this. It's great. And yeah, it's still, to this day, even reading it as an adult, I think it hit me even more as a grown-up. But it's one of the best books I have ever read, and I will continue to read it. Even though I don't have a physical copy, that's why I had to give you a photo of it. I had to take it back to the library, right? So I don't have it. It's adorable. And if you haven't read it, this is not a spoiler, but it's something to keep an eye out for. But the chapter where Willie learns to ride a bike is the most beautiful thing I've ever read. It's, my heart is like taken out and like stretched to the point where it's almost going to fall apart. And then it's like put back together again and filled with hope and filled with like, go on, Willie, you can do it, you can ride a bike. and it's one of those like sit up in the bed moments and like, yes. I don't know why, I'd already read it before, I don't know why I was like, come on, Willie, like I knew what was going to happen, but still, best chapter of a book I've ever read. And yeah, that's what kind of started me back on the journey of reading. So I've only been kind of, after being lapsed as a reader and a failed reader for like 25 years or something ridiculous like that, last year my New Year resolution was to read a book a week. I thought that was achievable, and I smashed through like 79 books last year. I had a lot of catching up to do. And then this year I've already read over 50 books, and this is with, I've got a full-time job, I go to college full-time, although I am off on my holidays just now, so I'm reading like way more books than normal. I've got a lot going on, but I'm finding time to read, and I'll try and find time to read every single day. Audiobooks help. That's my top tip of the day. Crack out the audiobooks, get the headphones on while you're doing the cleaning, sorted. It's my self-care. I'm like, how did I possibly get through that 25 years without like crying all the time? And then I realised I was crying quite a lot of the time, I'm not gonna lie. So it's a total escape for me, and I'm like, yes. And I've been pushing out the boundaries, so I love a thriller book, totally love a thriller book, love a crime, murder mystery, find out who done it, like takes me back to the Nancy Drew days, love them. But I am trying to like venture out into other stuff. I recently read The Hobbit. I will give you a review on that soon. I'm currently reading Lord of the Rings, and I'll give you the review on that soon. I'm, delving into a little bit of the fantasy. Apparently, ACOTAR is something that I need to develop a love for if I want to be in the reader sphere. Fantasy. I'm actually also quite enjoying the historical fiction, which I didn't think that would be for me. That's why it's important sometimes to push the boundaries, because I would have just stuck with like Geoffrey Deaver and James Patterson for the rest of time. And I'm not dissing that, because I love a book that I can read in a couple of hours, and it's twisty enough but predictable enough that I can just read it. But the ones that make me think are the ones I'm really loving now. It's great. So anyhow, this is my first ever review, done and dusted. I'm still really nervous, and I've got no idea why, but hopefully that gave you a little bit of an insight into me and the kind of content that you might get. You'll get the rough synopsis and then basically a bunch of emotions afterwards. Loads of genres. I'm not going to stick to one particular genre, to be honest. I do have a blog that I started a couple of months ago, so the link will be down in the description for you. It'd be great if you can go and have a look, maybe read through some of my previous blog posts. Let me know which ones you'd want me to make into a video. That would be interesting to see, because otherwise I'm just guessing, and I'll probably just go through them in date order or something stupid like that. So let me know. Go to the blog, have a little gander, tell me what you think. I'm feeling like I'm going to do like a weekly roundup, so I'll let you know what books I read that week and what books I'm planning on reading in the coming week. I'll do a monthly roundup, something similar with like my top 5, top 10 and all that kind of stuff, and then I'll do like the in-depth sort of long form reviews. Spitter spattered through the week. That's basically it. That's all from me. Thanks so much for coming along. I'm so excited. Let's see what we can do together. Tell me about it. Tell me what you want me to read. Tell me what you're reading. Let me see. Let's see. Let's do it together. That was so weird. I don't know why I did that. Anyway, bye.